Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Air Tycoon Online 3. Um, as you can tell, I have not made a Air Tycoon Online 3 episode for a while now, but for some reason I felt like playing the game again. So here we are, we're starting a new company, of course. Um, those were actually like the only servers that it would allow me to start in, so with only those options, I think I'd prefer to start as early as possible, so, I chose a server which seems to be only one tick old. Let's pick a random livery. I don't really care about those kind of things. I have to select a flag too. We will go with Canadian, of course, because I am Canadian. Now, Air Tycoon Online 3 is a bit different from all the other Air Tycoons in the sense that it's a bit more realistic, but not actually as fun to play, at least in the early game. The early game is quite tedious, so I'm gonna start in London. Last time I started in New York. I would have preferred to start in London, but when I started the game, there was no slots available. So I'm just gonna see what it's like to start in London right now. So of course we're gonna skip the tutorial and go ahead and buy ourselves our first batch of airplanes. So let me just go ahead and find the smallest available aircraft. So here's the Caravel. Let's see, it holds 80 people with 5.9 fuel efficiency, but it's 27,000. The Tupolev is 1,000 more, so it's 10 more passengers. The Lockheed Martin is just garbage, and everything else is very expensive. Now, unfortunately, I see immediately that there are no very small aircraft, like in the scale of the Tupolev. Oh, I remember, Tupolevs aren't profitable in this game. See, I immediately gravitated towards the Tupolevs, but then I remembered that Tupolevs are not profitable because satisfaction matters a lot more, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember right now. I remember I made a Tupolev 124 company, and it didn't profit very well, so I'm wondering if I should be using the Lockheed Martin. Now, as you can see, that is an abysmally low airspeed at 0.45 Mach. So I'm not sure if that's the plane I want to be using. Of course, the Boeings are very, very large and a bit too expensive. So the Tupolev has very low satisfaction, but the Caravel 1 has very decent satisfaction, so I feel like this is going to be a viable option. Yes, per dollar, it's quite a bit worse than the Tupolev. I don't know, it's like what? 11% less passengers, probably around 7 or 8% less speed, and I think it has a smaller range too. But with an increased fuel efficiency, it shouldn't be too much worse, and with the much better fuel economy, I feel like this might be a decent plane to start with. I didn't notice it had pretty decent satisfaction, so of course, like, I'm bringing down the satisfaction by making the seats smaller, but I think with London routes, these will be able to fill up anyway. Yeah, I remember starting out in this game is pretty rough, in the sense that it's a lot slower. Ooh. There's not that many slots available. Oh, it's 2,000, not 12. Not 1,600. Okay, that's good then, that's good. So what I'm going to do is, I know people are going to fight over the larger routes, so I'm going to start by using mediocre routes. That's a bit too mediocre. Not quite that mediocre. Valencia kind of mediocre. So I'm going to start out by only requesting slots in slightly worse cities. Porto's not quite good enough even. But like Toulouse, like Valencia, just cities where the business and tour add up to about 300. Now, if you don't already know, the business and tour numbers on Air Tycoon Online 3 are the most important factors when judging how many people will fly. And in general, if you add up the numbers of the two cities you're connecting, for example, if you add up the numbers from London and then the destination city, that will generally give you an idea of how many passengers will fly. Basically, the larger the better. Now, London is around 900 if you add the business and tour of 451 and 466, while a city like Toulouse, for example, will add up to just over 300. So if you combine them, you get around 1200, and 1200 is a pretty good route. A route which adds up to 1200 can actually be considered among the best routes available, which there are a lot of. For example, like London to New York, of course, will be much, much, much larger. But there just aren't that many routes which are that large in the world before you will run out. Yeah, basically, you can, of course, you could find large routes like that, especially at a time like this. For example, London to Atlanta is not taken, which is, of course, would be very large. Or something like even London to Boston would still be a lot bigger than like London to some random city that I can't pronounce like this. But there's simply so many more of these little routes that you have the option to keep making more monopolies, because you don't really want to be fighting competition ideally, right? Because competition is expensive, and mostly you have to micromanage it. If they decrease the price and you leave your price the same, then your profit will go down and theirs will, probably stay a little bit the same. And then what you end up with is basically the more routes you have, the longer you'd have to spend playing the game to try and make sure you're not losing out to them. And eventually it's just like not worth it anymore. Okay, so what kind of preset do I want? Let's set this to 2k minus. So that's going to be less than 2k range. I'm not sure how much of this I'll need. I'll pick the cheapest things I remember. Newspaper's cheap. Kids' gifts cheap. Okay, let's see if that brings the satisfaction to 100. No, it doesn't. Let's see if we do this. 60%. Good. 72%. So if this keeps going up, that means I haven't hit the max yet. 87%. $33 for this range. Okay, let me see if I go back to good, but add more of these services if it gets cheaper. Because I feel like figuring this out is pretty important. How much is that? $5? How much is this? $1 for a toothbrush. That's $2. That's $5. Okay, let's see how much that is. 81. So I'm paying $30. This is 38, and I get to 96%. If I go 2 but good, it's gonna cost more, 47, but 100. That's insane. 2 moderate? Okay, 1 goods is the sweet spot for price. Let's see if I can get it up to 100 with a neck pillow though. No, I really need best. Wow. So to get perfect satisfaction, I need to pay $41? That's a lot. Like, damn. Let me see something. $41. How much is the ticket price for this kind of range? $244. That's so big. That's enormous. Like, of course I'm gonna increase the price later on to something like this, but that's insane that I have to pay such a large portion. That's insane. I am astounded. I genuinely am. But as long as basically I don't have to ever think about decreasing my prices, then I'm okay with that. And plus I have, min seating and that kind of thing going on. But, well, I guess that's fine then. Let's see any quests I can get. Where's the quest? Are these the quests? Nope, that's credit exchange. I'm not interested in that. Is this quest? Yes, here we go. So those are credits. Number of, if I create 10 routes, I get 100k. Alright, that tells me I can go lease more aircraft pretty freely. In the sense that, you know, if I lease, or not lease, if I buy more aircraft, I'll still have money left for leasing, because I'm going to be granted 100k for free, basically. I love that slots give 25 now. That's so nice. Because slots give 25 in one request now, basically it makes it so that if you have 3 slot requests, later on in the game, if you have 2 like airplane requests and 3 slot requests, you won't run out of slots if you're constantly making routes with the new planes you're getting every half an hour. Basically it makes the game a lot more smooth to play, which is of course one thing I'm always, you know, vouching for. I would love the game to be easier to play more than anything else. Another thing I'm hoping is that I do not run out of memory in my phone, because I forgot to check that. Okay, let's not be setting the prices to max in the first term. I remember that doesn't work very well. You gotta wait to increase the price in Tycoon Online 3. And basically I want to be fast actually, because I realized if my phone runs out of space in this recording, I'm going to be really annoyed, because I don't want to redo it, and if it runs out of space, it seems to just corrupt the recording straight up, so I can't access it or recover it in any way. And I forgot to check how much space is on my phone, because I'm bad, I guess. Anyway, so just using these caravels, I hope this isn't a mistake. The nice thing about this game is you can just reset the game freely, in the sense that I can just leave the server and come back to it if I don't like this setup, especially in the early game, because I haven't done much yet. You know, if I have to redo what I'm doing now, it's not going to take long, especially if I do it off camera, where, you know, I can just focus on going fast. Oh, here's shortcut to the quest tab. So let's get our credits. Number of routes, 100k, alright. The first episode in the series is always the longest, because you have the most to do. You end up with a lot of money to work with. Like, as you can see, there's a lot of routes I can make. A lot of routes I can make, and I don't really have to do much. Just keep on going. Is that too far? Oh, no, that's just in range. So, rail to Mal, or not rail. What am I talking about? I'm thinking about football, I guess. Where, you could think of, London as one of the biggest cities in the game, and Rail is one of the biggest football clubs. I don't know. I'm trying to reason why the frick I just said. Why I just called London Rail. I don't know. I'm weird. I've never used this plane, by the way, so I hope it's good. Just quickly at a quick glance, it seems good. And I hope a quick glance is accurate. Oh yeah, one thing I need to do is I need to make a route to another city and start getting name value there. One of the very key things about this game is getting name value in a second city very early, because this game has a very frustrating hub system, which basically makes it so that it takes a long time to open up a second hub, and additionally second hubs are very important. So yeah, what did I just run out of? Was I clicking cargo plane? I must have been clicking cargo. Yeah, basically, it's really easy to run out of things to do if you don't have a second hub. Another tip I have is this game actually has a lot of open routes, which are very good later on in the game. And that is because in Air Tycoon Online 1 and Air Tycoon Online 2, if you saw a good route between two cities, you could just take it. And that was it, basically. But in Air Tycoon Online 2, or 3, people might not have the hub, even if they found the route. And what that does is then they have to freaking try and get name value in a city, and go through all this complicated stuff to try and open this route. So it's a really big advantage to have hubs everywhere, so you can just open up a route whenever you see it. Now, it's not a big expense or something like that to your company. It's not a huge detriment at all. So there's not really a downside, except for the advertising expense you need to get there. Now, my tip for this is probably subjective, because depending on how you play, this could be a very good thing or a very bad thing. Now, I would recommend investing to get into your hubs early, because your advertising expense for balance purposes, like game balance purposes, scales with the size of your company. So you might gain 1 name value per turn with maxed out advertising expense, like at the very first turn of the game. For example, if I started investing in advertising in a city like New York, right now, with the maximum, I might be spending like 1k a turn and be gaining like 0.7, 0.8 name value a turn. Now, later on in the game, that advertising expense might be literally like a million K or 100k, and that will still only get you the same 0.9 name value or whatever the number is. I'm making these numbers up, of course, I don't know, a turn. So basically, in terms of a raw value amount, you're spending less if you invest early. At the same time, this is a game where money you invest back into your company early on means you'll be making more later on. Basically, for every 1k I spend now, in 300 turns from now, that 1k might be making 2 or 300k a turn. Not probably that exaggerated, but on some level that is true. We start with 600k and then end up making 3 million a turn, or 3 million k a turn. So each one of those k's is in theory generating a lot of money for us. Well, 1 over 600, each one of those k's is generating 1 over 600 times net profit. I guess you could think of it like that. So basically, in essence, you have to weigh it off. Like, if you really are trying to make your early game as good as possible to make your late game better, is it worth investing early? And I would say it still is, because in this game, even though it's like exponential growth, basically, for whatever reason, it's much easier to have extremely high profit ratios early on. Meaning, even with your maxed out investment expenses, you might only be making, I don't know, like 10k. But that 10k might be like with like 20k profit, and you're making 10k, you have like a 50% margin. Whereas later on in the game, margins get much lower. Like margins will probably get down to about 15-20%. Like when you compare your expenses to your income. So, in that sense, if you cut some of that, you aren't left with very much, basically. So I personally still find it advantageous to invest early, instead of later. Because later it just costs so much in terms of raw value. Like, every turn you're cutting your value by a huge amount. By like, I remember advertising investment expenses could go up beyond 1 million K. Like, these are insanely insane numbers, and I don't see why it's necessary to do that. So I would say get your investing done early, guys. Now, how do you get your investing done early? That's another question, and I'm going to be doing that now, hopefully, in this episode. I just need one more short range route. Let's see if I can find a decent one. If I can't, I'll just do something stupid like Vilnius or something. Okay, Minsk, that works. How far is it? Hopefully I didn't request something that's too far. 1,800. Okay, that is too far. I guess we're doing this place in Sweden now. Alright, so, what am I going to do? Well, first of all, I'm going to buy some new airplanes. I'm going to go to the leasing tab, believe it or not. As you guys, if you have watched my videos before, would know, I really love leasing. And the reason for that is, leasing is... Ooh, turn is passing. And I think we just lost some money, that's fine. The special thing about leasing is it doesn't cost you very much value, but it yields you good aircraft, which can make you a lot of money. So I'm going to buy some, or lease some aircraft. So we're gonna do a normal order. Shoot. If I cancel this, do I get my down payment back? Shit. I did not get all the down payment back. I lost a significant amount to that. Oh god. Oh, that sucks. That's a big slowdown. Oh well. Do I not get to control the seating arrangement? Oh, I just skipped past it. Oh god. Oh god, and it was correct too, so I just literally wasted a bunch of money. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's brutal, yo. I lost like, what, like 20k from that? Insane. 20k. In real life, that'd be 20 million. Insane. I canceled in like a second. Jesus Christ. That sucks. That really does. At least I won't be able to hit the next monetary checkpoint yet. Yeah, 30 routes. I don't actually. Maybe I would have been able to. Ooh, that's tragic. That's tragic. Just for fun, let's check our income report. It's gonna be terrible, of course. First turn. Yep, negative 12k. Let me check why though. So all our aircraft are doing decently. And I'm just gonna have to increase the prices, I guess, because these are pretty abysmal profit numbers. Now, why am I losing money, actually? I'm curious. That 12k is a pretty significant chunk. So, let's see, what am I losing money on? So we have maintenance expense, very low, depreciation, yep, of course. Advertising investment. Ooh, I have forgot to make sure that's in check. Here, no. Where do you get into that advertising investment expense? Put it here. So important in this game too. I think it's here. Add investment cost. Here we go. So the first thing we're gonna do is find London and make that 0, because that's a complete waste. You don't need name value in your main hub. I don't think it makes a difference. So yeah, I really struggled to find any connection between advertising, like, or name value, so-called, and success. I really have not. I have tried, but I haven't found any. So, where do I want hubs? I want hubs in New York. I want hubs in Chicago. And I want hubs in Asia, but I don't think I can fly there yet. Oh, I can think of a way to do it. I want hubs in Asia, so I'm gonna need to find some city around here. Moulton has no airport. Yeah, let's use Karachi. That works. So I want hubs in Asia, so we're gonna need slots around here. So where do I want? Beijing is good. Seoul is not as good as Beijing. Shanghai is not as good as Beijing. Guangzhou is almost as good as Beijing. Hong Kong is no good. I think Singapore is decent, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Yep. So I think I'm gonna go for Seoul and Beijing to start things out. So why did I request slots in these random faraway cities? Well, thanks to stopovers, we can make some pretty fun routes, actually. So, for example, of course, everyone already has New York to freaking London, right? But I'm just going to use a stopover route. And then we can stop over to somewhere like Karachi. I don't really want to use that yet. I kind of want to do this instead. Beijing to... Oops. Let's do it this way just to keep things consistent. London to Karachi, and then do a stopover, and then go to Beijing. And this is one way we can get stopover. Ooh, that might be a reason why we're not making that good money. Okay, there we go. And this is a way we can access, cities in Asia and all that kind of good stuff. No, we're gonna need another preset. Let's use this one. Let's set this to 5K to 7.7K. Let's do 7.5. Let's keep it even. 7.6. Nope. 7.5K. I'm sorry, I typed painfully slowly. Select everything, I guess. How close? 100%? Okay, let's try to reduce that slightly. Oh, shoot, I modified the wrong one. Or was this before? I'm pretty sure this is best one. Yeah. Wait, let me modify this. Nope, it has to be best. Alright. Wait, what did I just do? Oh god. Oh god, I messed it up. I keep clicking the wrong one. Okay. So we gotta set this to best, and, well, that's expensive. 82 bucks, jeez. Next. Next. Okay, so this is Beijing to Karachi, so we're gonna need to make another one. This is 2K to 5K. Oh, that's an underscore. Oh, god. 2K to... I really wish these stored from server to server, so you only have to do this once. Let's do good times 2, and let's do everything that's not $5. Pretty sure blanket is $5. Yep. Still so expensive, but I guess it's necessary. Why the fuck does the 2K to 5K work? This is already perfect. Oh, I don't get it. Okay. Well, I really don't get it, I guess. The 2K to 5K one's completely useless. It's literally completely useless. So where can we go from New York? Let's go from New York to somewhere where nobody will try and compete with me. Let's go to Panama. The only reason why I'm choosing Panama is I don't want people to compete with me. So I just realized that a hub in London is really, on many levels, overpowered. Jesus Christ. I need 707 stopover capable. Nope. Just seems to be the DC-8, so we're gonna buy that. Yeah, the DC, I just realized how overpowered this is. Because I'm in London, right? Which is, I guess you could think of it as the center, quote-unquote, of the world. Because, you know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like London in this game feels like the center of the world because, oh, that's not long enough. Okay. Well, we'll do Lima instead. Yeah, basically what I mean by it feels like the center of the world is it's like kind of like the center of the population if you think about it. There's a lot of population over here. There's a lot of population over here. And it's right in the middle, so you can kind of access both continents quite easily within the range of an aircraft. Whereas North America, for example, is a bit too far from Asia. And there's nothing really in between to, you know, stop over off of, basically. Anyways, basically what I'm saying is, if you start in London, it is very overpowered. As you can see, London to New York requires this. Okay. And then what does the next half require? The exact same thing. I find it interesting. I don't feel like I don't know how to say it, the smoothness of the transitioning of the people's satisfaction over range is very linear, in the sense that I feel like it has jumps. Kind of like I don't know if I want to make this analogy, but kind of like electricity, where, you know, if you use this much electricity, you get this price, and then once you surpass this level of electricity usage, you jump right up to the next like price bracket, basically. I'm not sure how it works where you live, but that's how it works where I live. So, you know, the electricity cost you pay is basically a staircase based off of how much you used. I feel like the satisfaction over range in this game has a very similar mechanic. I don't really like it, but whatever. Things like London to Delhi aren't taken right now, or New Delhi. But I'm not going to take them anyway, because I know they will be taken. So I'm going to take something, I guess, what appears to be garbage, like London to Tashkent. And then that's not going to be far enough. I didn't think of that. It has to be in India. That is too far, I believe. How long range is this aircraft? DC-8. 560. Well, that doesn't give me very many options then. I only have Delhi. And Dubai's not big yet. How far is Doha to Asia? In range. Okay, I think if I use Doha, Asia will still be in range. We'll find out. Anyways, I still have a lot of money, but I'm probably going to end the episode here anyway, because I'm getting a little bit tired of playing. I've been playing for a while, I guess now. I'm probably going to take a little break after this before coming back and, you know, grinding away some more. Why was that not good? I don't know. What did I click? I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, like, damn, I can't believe the cost of even getting a short range route to 100%. Maybe it's not worth getting a short range route to 100%. Anyways, all my short range routes are under the same preset, so I can actually mess around with the preset to see how it affects my profit. What did it say? What did it tell me? What did I click? Jesus, what am I clicking? Why am I smoking? Why am I like... Huh? What did I do? I don't know, I'm getting confused. The intermediate transit city of the stopover route can only be a hub. Karachi is a hub-enabled city? Wait, what? No. I feel trolled. I'm not allowed to use a city like Doha as a stopover. Oh, that sucks. I guess that's why stopovers aren't as broken as I thought. Oh, now I just have a bunch of slots in the middle of nowhere. Oh well, I have to use New Delhi then. That's dumb. I also got baited in by the fact that, I got baited into the fact that I could just do that based on the fact that Karachi worked. No, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. You guys have no idea how much I would like to make random stopovers everywhere to random cities, just because stopovers are so OP they'll fill up basically no matter what. So, that's okay, because the airport supports stopovers. Why does that mechanic makes no sense. Why can't I use any random little city as a stopover? Why is it asking me to charge that much? We'll never know. Well, I'll never know. Like, that's just dumb. That's so unfortunate. Oh, now I have to do really annoying things like, for example, I know I'm gonna want slots in Atlanta, so Atlanta to, or not slots, I know I'm gonna eventually want something to Atlanta, so I'm gonna want to Atlanta to London, and then stop over to one of these stupid cities over here. That's frustrating. Oh well. And let's use Doha, because I think Doha would be less usable. I don't know. That works. And that works. Okay. Well, I guess that is going to be it for today. As you can see, I've made some routes a little bit to everywhere. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.